Hello Internet, it's Amelia. I'm back with my second video in a brand new location. Hopefully this one will turn out a bit better. So, like I said in my previous video, I'm not just a fan of Anne with an E, I'm also a fan of everything Anne of Green Gables. I have read and loved the books for a very long time. So, I thought I'd take this video, to showcase some of my favorite Anne of Green Gables passages. But I understand that maybe me just reading aloud like an audiobook isn't the most entertaining thing, so I went out to a nearby forest, shot a whole bunch of video of me like playing with the trees and stuff, and I'm going to show you that over my voice. You don't need to pay that much attention to what you're seeing. Pay more attention to the words that I'm saying because they are such beautiful words. I love them so much. The first excerpt we are going to be reading is from the second chapter, when Anne has just arrived onto the island and she's going about naming everything. The second excerpt is from the 16th chapter because it's a lovely passage all about October, and I thought it really suited this time of year since it is October. Everyone ready? Let's go!
"Oh, Matthew Cuthbert," Anne whispered. "That place we came through, that white place, what was it?" "Well now, you must mean the avenue," said Matthew, after a few moments' profound reflection. "It is kind of a pretty place." "Pretty? Oh, pretty doesn't seem the right word to use, nor beautiful either. They don't go far enough. Oh, it was wonderful, wonderful. It's the first thing I ever saw that couldn't be improved upon by imagination. It just satisfied me here." She put one hand on her chest. "It made a queer, funny ache, yet it was a pleasant ache. Did you ever have an ache like that, Mr. Cuthbert?" "Well, now, I can't recollect that I ever had. I've had it lots of times, whenever I see anything royally beautiful. But they shouldn't call that lovely place the Avenue. There's no meaning in a name like that. They should call it, let me see. The White Way of Delight. Isn't that a nice imaginative name? When I don't like the name of a place or a person, I always imagine a new one, and always think of them so. There was a girl back at the asylum whose name was Hepzibah Jenkins, but I always imagined her as Rosalina de Vere. Other people may call that place the Avenue, but I shall always call it the White Way of Delight. Have we really only another mile to go before we get home? I'm glad, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry because this drive has been so pleasant, and I'm always sorry when pleasant things end. Something still pleasanter may come after, but you can never be sure. And it's so often the case that it isn't pleasanter. That has been my experience anyhow. But I'm glad to think of getting home. You see, I've never had a real home since I can remember. It gives me that pleasant ache again, just to think of coming to a really, truly home. Oh, isn't that pretty?" They had driven over the crest of a hill. Below them was a pond, looking almost like a river, so long and winding was it. A bridge spanned it midway, and from there to its lower end, where an amber-hued belt of sand shut it in from the dark blue gulf beyond, the water was a glory of many shifting hues, the most spiritual shadings of crocus and rose, and ethereal green, with other elusive tintings for which no name had ever been found. Above the bridge the pond ran up into fringing groves of fir and maple, and lay all darkly translucent in their wavering shadows. Here and there a white plum leaned out from the bank, like a white-clad girl tiptoeing to her own reflection. From the marsh at the head of the pond came the clear, mournfully sweet chorus of the frogs. There was a little grey house peering around a white apple orchard on the slope beyond, and, although it was not yet quite dark, a light was shining from one of its windows. "That's Barry's pond," said Matthew. "Oh, I don't like that name either. I shall call it, let me see, the Lake of Shining Waters. Yes, that is the right name for it. I know, because of the thrill. When I hit on a name that suits exactly, it gives me a thrill." That was the first clip. Here's the second one from chapter 16. October was a beautiful month at Green Gables, when the birches in the hollow turned as golden as sunshine, and the maples behind the orchard were royal crimson, and the wild cherry trees along the lane put on the loveliest shades of red and bronzy green, while the fields sunned themselves in aftermaths. Anne revelled in the world of colours about her. "Oh, Marilla," she exclaimed one Saturday morning, coming dancing in with her arms full of gorgeous burrows, "I'm so glad I live in a world where there are Octobers. It would be terrible if we just skipped from September to November, wouldn't it? Look at these maple branches. Don't they give you a thrill? Several thrills? I'm going to decorate my room with them." "Messy things," said Marilla, whose aesthetic sense was not noticeably developed. "You clutter up your room entirely too much with those out-of-doors stuff, Anne. Bedrooms are made to sleep in." "Oh, and dream in, too, Marilla. And you know one can dream so much better in a room where there are pretty things. I'm going to put these burros in an old blue jug and set them on my table."
So I hoped you liked those passages. If you did and you want me to do more things like this with different passages because I did not get to all my favorite ones, please leave a comment down below. I would like to do some more of this, but not if it's not going to be interesting for you guys. Please comment if you want to see more of this. Now I have a little treat for you guys because I am a writer. So I love to write fics and headcanons, but I find that I don't have enough time to write all the ones that I want to write. I have way more ideas that I could possibly write. So I'm going to start throwing ideas out there at the end of these videos, If you want to write it, that's good for you because I'm definitely not going to. So my first idea is, what if Anne was never adopted by the Cuthberts? What if they actually got a boy when they asked for one? What if Anne was left at the orphanage? What if when Gilbert's dad died, he was sent to the orphanage? Because he's not 16 yet, so he's not allowed to own land yet. So he has to stay in the orphanage until he's 16, and then when he gets out, that's when he can start farming his own land. Anne shows Gilbert the ropes, what to do, when to do it, all those invisible rules that totally exist, though everyone insists they don't. And Gilbert, in turn, protects Anne. Says that if you want to mess with her, you gotta go through me first, so the girls in the asylum stop messing with her. So Anne and Gilbert are bonding, and Gilbert is falling in love, and when he turns 16, he's allowed to go back to Avonlea. But Anne is a year and a half younger than him, so she is not allowed to leave yet. But Gilbert promises that on the day Anne turns 16, he is going to come back and get her, and they are both going to go to Avonlea together. So Anne is left in the orphanage for a year and a half, wondering if Gilbert will remember her or will make good on their promise, or wondering if maybe he didn't like her or if he liked her too much, because Sometimes Anne's looking back on the memories and being like, wait, that was more than just friendly. So Anne's kind of freaking out, but she shows up to like the arranged meeting point on the day nonetheless. And Gilbert's there. And Gilbert definitely turned hot during that year and a half. So now Anne's like, oh my god, I'm attracted. So they start living together platonically. And Anne's in school with Miss Stacy. They completely skipped Mr. Phillips. So she's learning, but has so much to catch up on because she wasn't able to get a good education. Like, at all. But Gilbert's helping her study, and she returns the favor by quizzing him on his medical stuff because he still wants to be a doctor. And it's just so nice. But it's not so much like domestic fluff as it is roommate fluff. Also, this entire time, Anne's becoming friends with like Diana and Cole and everyone from before. So that's just a little like, imagine if you will. Maybe that's what I'll call these, imagine if you wills. They're just like little headcanons that I want to have at the end of each video. Anyway, that's all. Don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Until the next time I post.